we finish up the podcast. And he says, what are you doing now? And I said, well, I was going to go home and write the show notes for this because it was me, an editor, and a Mormon assistant in a Facebook Messenger chat. That was our business at this stage. And he said, well, do you want to go wake surfing? Can you wake surf? It's like, yeah, I can wake surf. When do you want to go wake surfing? Like, when? When? Now. Yeah, okay. I mean, we've just been on a podcast for 2 hours, 3 hours. It's the middle of the afternoon. So, okay, no worries. We go downstairs. His driver's outside waiting for us. We get into the car. We get to Austin 360 Bridge. His boat captain is there on the boat with shorts for both of us and towels and food and snacks and caffeine. And immediately we're wake surfing within 30 minutes of having finished the podcast. And I was like, 3D lesson. 2D lesson, reading the book. 3D lesson, going to Bill's house and seeing his staff. I'm like, this guy puts his money where his mouth is. And the difference for exactly what you're talking about. 2D lesson, 3D lesson.
The value of narrative.
Yeah. There are two types of people. Those who want to know more and those who want to defend what they already know. So many people are afraid of changing their mind when most of their beliefs aren't even theirs to begin with.
Man, I got some good quotes.
That first one's Morgan Housel. So
Is it?
You can go fuck yourself. Yeah.
No, because it's interesting that we said that because I was like, man, fuck. I was like, I don't even remember that shit.
That's why.
Yeah.
There's a idea called
the second half is
second
yeah,
half.
I did write that. Okay. Yeah.
Do you know what the dead internet theory is?
No.
Over time, so much content on the internet is going to be created by AI and bots that nothing is going to be left that's user generated. Essentially, it's going to be a rounding error of that. So it's dead internet theory. I get the sense that the people who are concerned about dead internet theory should have been concerned a long time ago, given that most people are propagating ideas that they didn't even come up with and can't explain. Yeah. It's like you're worried about mindless robotic creatures producing things on the internet that you might have to read. Have you seen what most people put on the internet and ask them about where they got that idea from?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the dead internet theory's already occurred. It's as Naval says, people failing the Turing test in reverse.
People failing the Turing test in reverse. So they behave like robots? The second half of the quote was what?
So many people are afraid of changing their mind when most of their beliefs aren't even theirs to begin with.
So there's this quote by Marcus Aurelius that I wrote on the executive assistant.
How much fucking wall space have you got?
It's all whiteboard. Yeah, there's a lot. And it was, what are you so afraid of losing when nothing in this world belongs to you? And I read that and I was like, fuck, that's good. And so like there's also things, but there's also beliefs. Like, what are we so afraid of? Because every belief that we have, like, we got it. Like, we come as a blank slate, right? Now you could say, I combined 3 things and made it my own. I think you've read enough quotes in this world that like most interesting things have already been said.
Yeah.
But the ability to change your mind, like if you can't explain why you believe what you believe, then it isn't your belief. It is someone else's. And what's weird about that is that people are willing to defend someone else's belief, but they're not willing to accept someone else's belief. It's just that it's just one step removed. I'm talking to you and it's your belief, and I'm defending another person's belief, but it's mine right now, but it's not mine. And strong beliefs loosely held is, I think, a saying in the Y Combinator world. Like before I get this like big trigger effect of like, he says that I am wrong and therefore he is calling me stupid and I'm inadequate and I will die because I will, and you extrapolate it to everything. I think the quick check of like, why do it? Like, what if he's right? And I think that's a great perspective. I remember having my own mind change on something like this. I had to do a debate when I was in high school for affirmative action. And so I was a very pro affirmative action guy going into that debate. I had to argue the opposite perspective for the debate.
That's cool.
And and that was, I think it was one of the requirements the teacher said everyone had to say what side they were on, and then just flipped it, which was amazing teaching, by the way.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And at the end of the whole thing, I was like, I was wrong. I actually think this hurts people more than it helps people. And like I had all this reasoning behind it. And I'll tell you a completely different scenario of this in terms of questioning our beliefs. So in the gym world, which is where I came from, I remember a period of time where I saw people work out and I would judge them. And I'd be like, oh, that guy's form is bad, or he's doing too much volume, or he's not, squeezing in the right way, whatever. And then I learned more, and then learned that thing that I was seeing some guy do actually was more effective, and my thing was not as effective. And then a few years passed, and then I learned that the original thing that I said was actually the thing that mattered.
Mhm.
And then I learned even more, and it was like, oh, so all of these things have different rates of progress based on quote efficacy, but all of us eventually cap out at our genetic max. And so all we're really debating here is how quickly we reach our genetic max. And if I enjoy training, wouldn't I rather have longer progress over an extended period of time? So then which one is better? And so it's just like, and basically having myself, and luckily for me at least, each of those times where I quote learned that I was wrong, it was in silence. And after like the third or fourth time of this, where it got flipped again and again, I was like, maybe I should back off a little bit.
Just be humble.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna exercise the way I like to, and kind of like the pursuit of why for you. Like, I like training this way.
I can't really explain it too well. It just seems to give me joy.
Yeah, right.
Yep. Yeah. There's this idea from Gwynder
Well,
Bogle.
can I add something to this? Which is, I saw this this yacht, and it had because every yacht names are always like wild, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it said, "Don't analyze your pleasures."
What's that mean to you?
He used the word analyze, but I think judge is the word that he. I'm assuming it was he, because
This thing makes you feel good.
Yeah. Don't question it.
Don't worry about it.
Just let it be.
Yeah, that's really cool. That is really, really cool.
Like, don't it's like the suffer, like only suffer once. Like, don't judge this.
Thing went well. Sure. I mean, you just you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Gwynder Bogle's got this idea, two-step flow theory. Most people's opinions are copied from their favorite influencers, who in turn copy the opinions of their favorite mass media. As such, politics is largely a battle between two armies of puppets being ventriloquized by a handful of actual thinkers. And that's you defend an opinion. So many people are afraid of changing their mind when most of their beliefs aren't even theirs to begin with. And there's people who want to know more and those who want to defend what they already believe.
Oh, so interesting, because it was kind of like, this is like kind of like the Mark Manson quote. I thought it was going to go in a different direction. So based on that premise, my expected outcome was these people copy the behaviors of their favorite influencers, and the influencers are using the most tested thing that the masses have said is the highest performing version of.
Oh, okay. So it's like a means tested outcome. It's like, the best rose to the top, and then everybody's copying that. Well, I mean, maybe, but I think that the point here is that original thinking is very rare.
Yeah.
And that it's maybe one of the reasons why you get conceptual inertia and stuff takes a very long time to change, even after a heliocentric version of the universe is fucking, turned around. You have a long time for humans to catch up. And I wonder whether this plays back into the breakup thing. Just like, there's just this fucking conceptual inertia sometimes. Thought patterns for someone who has trained it perhaps be able to change like that. But fuck me, when you start to scale that across an entire society and media and legislation and government and expectation and religion and what is it? A lumbering behemoth that sort of drags its feet. We end up with that.
Thinking is hard, which is why the vast majority of people delegate it. And what's really interesting, and I think you had George Mack, and this is his whole thing with high agency.
Yep.
Like, you can be exceptional by just actually trying to come up with your own opinions. Like, and starting with what are the few things we know, which is, reasoning from first principles, which people say over and over again, but don't know what reasoning from first principles is to begin with, which is we start with the facts, the things that we are in the observable universe, and we only go from there and we build on that. And if we arrive at our current thing, then I will also agree with it. If I don't arrive at the current thing, then I'll arrive at somewhere else, and then I'll have reasoning to believe that thing. And the thing is that if you do reason from first principles, it does give you the ability to sustain the course for an extended period of time because your logic is sound. And so you can look at everyone, and there's one of my favorite memes. I've like my two favorite memes of all time. And one of them is there's this one dude, and they've probably seen it in front of like a zillion little heads that are going the other way. And he says, "Yes, you're all wrong." And I love that meme because to me, it's like that meme is agency. It's like, I don't know why you all believe what you believe, but I know why I believe what I believe. And until I have observable evidence that somehow contradicts the stack that has built this belief, this is what I'm going with. The problem is that this takes time to do that research, to do that thinking and come to it. Whereas, and as much as we can, throw shade at people who delegate decision-making, we all do, because you can't actually you don't have enough time to
It's too effortful. Yes.
Yeah, you don't have enough time. So we have to just be more purposeful about what are the beliefs that I'm actually, like, what hills will I die on? So I will die on my hill of behavior change, because that is what I've spent a huge amount of my time, thinking about. But if it's around food stuff, I'm like, I don't know. Like, and I was in the business for 13 years. Like, I was in the business for a long time. Around fitness and nutrition and things like that. But even then, it's like, you know what? This guy's Dr. Mike's smart, and I believe that he spent his time looking at all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to delegate my thinking to him.
Incentives are aligned.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get people leaner or more muscular, then his business falls apart. Pretty relatable expertise.
Yeah, he's definitely confident.
Yeah. The fastest growth periods are often the most miserable. If you want progress, get used to pain. The worst thing that's ever happened to you is the worst thing that's ever happened to you. The hardest you've ever worked is the hardest you've ever worked. Every new challenge shows you a new territory you were scared of but survived. Every time you break a new limit, you now know you have the capacity to handle more than you ever did before. It's inverse PTSD, like workload exposure therapy, that teaches you, oh, I've been here before and I didn't die. This is okay.
So one of my training partners, what he likes me to tell him when he's in a hard set is, you're fine. That's what he likes me to tell him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's right at those money sets where you're like, I'm dying right now. And you're like, you're fine. Not keep going. You got this. And a lot of people like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you're fine. You're fine. And I think that that's probably what he tells himself when he's going through those harder times, because so when I was back in the fraternity days, I was in the SEC, which is, the South, and they were notorious for like heavy hazing. And so I was going to join as a pledge.